Hi guys, it's Stribbers and welcome to another episode of PGR2 Road to Platinum. So we're up to episode 40 now, and in the last episode we unlocked the final series of the Kudos World Series, which is the Ultimate Series, and we did the first 3 races which were all on the Nurburgring. So we've got 4 more events to do today. We've got a couple street races and a couple cone challenges. I think this is the first time we've done 2 cone challenges in one episode. So that'll be interesting, and we're going to kick things off with the street race today on the Nurburgring. A lot bigger section of the track this time for this race, way over halfway I'd say, or maybe just halfway. But yeah, we've got 8 cars in this race. I picked the Ferrari Enzo as it's a bit of a beast on the Nürburg compared to the other cars that we can use. So we start off obviously on the main straight of the Nürburgring. Flying past quite a few cars, catching this Koenigsegg up. As we know, it goes a bit slower in the higher gears, as well as the Zondon having the most brilliant top speed, and we just completely shoved the Koenigsegg out the way there. We were running out of room, so we had no other option there. And that left me completely out the way of the racing line. That is not how you take that corner, but we recovered enough to stay in second place behind the Enzo, which is in first. So yeah, this is a lot more of the Nürburgring this time, so it's going to take a bit longer to get through. But luckily we've driven all this section before in the other series and the other street races. Mounting the curb there, going on the grass, which wasn't brilliant. But we're still closing on this this Enzo. Luckily you don't have to drive perfectly on this track to catch the AI up. As you see, he slowed down massively there, and we're able to pass him on the inside of that corner, which usually isn't the best place to overtake. But 1 minute 20 into the lap pretty much, and we're in first now, so we've just got to see if we can pull away, taking that nicely there, using the width. So we've just got to see if we can stay ahead of this Enzo. Luckily, the races on the Nürburg are a lot easier than most other street races, to be honest. I think Chicago and Washington are the harder street races, and we've got some other hard ones as well in Florence. But yeah, on the Nürburgring you don't really tend to have too many troubles, mainly due to the fact they don't drive particularly well on this. It's quite easy to open up a gap, because they either go on the grass or they just start braking on when they've got 2 wheels on a curb, or they just generally don't take some corners very well. So it does make it a little bit easier, and yeah, generally shouldn't have too many problems with these ones, if you're using the right car, that is, because on the straights they can pull away if you're in one of the slower cars. But as you can see by looking behind, we're already pretty far ahead, with probably just about a minute to go on this track. Taking that nicely there, sweeping into the outside of the curb, and again really using that width. 2 wheels on the grass slightly there. I always feel like there should be a curb on the left there where we just went off, as you do pull onto the left hand side there. So 4 seconds in the lead now, so this is going to be quite an easy win if we don't spin out and crash, which is actually quite easy to do on this, to be fair. But yeah, 3 minutes in, still in the lead. And yeah, so the first time we've got 2 cone challenges to do in this episode. Luckily though, they are quite short in the Ultimate Series. I think there's 4 to do in total, if I remember. And as you see, we go way too wide there, taking too much speed through that corner. But yeah, we've got 4 cone challenges to do, but they're all pretty short. And fairly, well, I'd say fairly easy. They're easier than the other cone challenges we've come across. Mainly due to the fact that you can link up the cone gates so much easier, because you don't need to carry so much speed between them. You can be a bit more reserved with your speed. So we'll get to that when we're in the next event, as we're just about to cross the finish. So yeah, it is over halfway, because it's nearly 4 minutes actually. I wasn't sure how realistic that mini-map was, but yeah, that was way over halfway. So we get the fastest lap as well, 2,400 in-game kudos, and the Koenigsegg was 6.5 seconds behind. I don't know where the Enzo went there, that dropped off massively. But that's the first street race down, and we move on to the first cone challenge of 2. Now, to be honest, you can use any car you like for these. As I said, there's no real speed you need to be going through them, so you don't need the fastest car. And I found the Porsche Carrera GT is a very good car to use, mainly due to the fact that it's very controllable. It's got very, very good handling, and you can make it slide very easily, but you can also control the slide quite nicely. So with all those factors combined, I thought this was a really good car to use. As you see how wide those cone gates are, you've got plenty of room through there. And as you can see, it's quite a short track, 2 laps of this, not too complicated. 19,000 is the target though, so it's quite a high target. But as you can see, you can slide very easily. You don't even need to use the handbrake to make this car slide. You can just accelerate round a corner, as long as you're going a low-ish speed, and it will start to power slide. There's a bit of a bug with this track. There was a cone on the corner there that was fallen over already, and I've never seen that before. It's the only cone challenge I've seen, so that must be a bug. But so we're still linking all these cones together. As you see, I've not really had to do anything special to link these all together. Just drive sensibly through all the cones and then power slide around the 90-degree corners. That's basically the formula for this one. As we've got a combo of 60 crossing the start line. So we're coming back to this narrow section with this tight corner, so you can slow right the way down, just do a little slide on the spot, keep that combo going to the next cone gate, through all these. Again, the cone gates are really wide, so it's not too technical, slowing down a little bit there, but as we see, we're able to accelerate nicely through there. And the Porsche Carrera isn't well, it's probably one of the weakest cars in the class in terms of acceleration, and we're still doing absolutely fine for getting between cone gates. So you shouldn't have too many problems. If you've already got this far doing all the cone gates, the cone challenges, then you shouldn't have too many problems with these ones. They take time to learn the circuits and where the cones are placed and the layout of the track, but once that's learnt, it shouldn't be too difficult. Coming around the final corner now, nice little slide. Actually way overcooked that, oversteered a massive amount when I was power sliding there, so I had to pretty much stop and slide. But doing a slide across the line, 20,000 plus the clean race, 20,600, so that's 1,600 over what we needed, so that wasn't too bad. Hefty amount of kudos we got for that, which means we are going to rank up to rank 47 and another 20 kudos. But overall, that was pretty easy. Well, in terms of the cone challenges anyway. So we go on to the second street race of the episode. Opting for the Koenigsegg this time, as we are on a normal circuit, an enclosed circuit. So the Koenigsegg really does make things a hell of a lot easier. In Florence for this one. And this is a very unique event, because there are cars of all different classes, which I can't remember there ever being that in this game. So this is literally the only street race where this happens. We've got we had the Ferrari Ep.40 and Ep.50 back there from the Extreme Series. We've got the Enzo in front, which is obviously from the Ultimate Series. Then we had the Challenge Strudal, which is from the Track Special Series, and then we also had the 575 from the Grand Touring. So that's a little bit strange, but I have just twigged that we are in Italy for this race and they're all Ferraris, so I'm not sure if that's got something to do with it. Maybe a little Easter egg for us there, but obviously those other cars aren't really going to pose a threat. The F40 and the F50 being very good cars, but just not on par with the cars in the Ultimate class. So we're able just to get ahead of the Ferrari due to the Koenigsegg's just crazy acceleration. Up to its 5th gear, it's just no match. Really does pull away as we fly through this section before turning right and going over the bridge. Now the Koenigsegg has to brake very early here due to its poor brakes. The Enzo can brake a lot later than that, but on these straights, as you see, we get to around, well, just before 120 miles an hour, so this is in the prime region of the Koenigsegg's acceleration. And all these little straights are where you're going to make some time up. So it's 2 out of 4 laps, and we've just got to see if we can maintain this little gap between us and the Enzo here. 2 seconds behind, so fairly comfortable gap. We've just not got to make any mistakes on this part. As you see, the Koenigsegg is a little bit slower through the corners. It's not got terrible handling. You know, it doesn't understeer massively, but it just feels a bit heavy and not as nimble in the corners, and the brakes do make a big difference. The brakes probably one of the worst features of it. One of the worst brakes in the class, I'd say. As this thing is a bit of a straight line rocket. Not really built for the corners, but as you can see, it is working for us on this one. 2.5 seconds now, so we are increasing the lead. Come around this little alcove section. We can dart through nicely. And as soon as you start accelerating with this car, and you've got the car pointing not quite in the right direction, you really will just crash straight into the barrier. You have to get it pointing exactly where you want it to go before you put full throttle on. Because, well, especially at the low speeds as well, it will just take off in a direction. But we are gaining tenths on him each corner. And this is the hardest corner, I think, to take. Well, as you see, I just hit the barrier there and very nearly hit the inside again. It's very hard to take that corner at speed. You've really got to get the angle of that completely right. And again, not doing that particularly well, nearly losing control on the final lap. Going over this bridge section again, braking nice and early before the braking zone. And he was catching us up a little bit, but I think we pulled away again. I think it was at 2.1 seconds. Yeah, we are gaining a couple tenths each time we go around the corner. Well, when I say around the corner, it's more of gaining the time on the straight. Going way too wide on that section, but again, using acceleration to pull away. Getting a good line through there as well. Shouldn't have too many problems getting good lines through these races. 2.2 seconds, so he's gained a little bit through there. Through the more technical section is where he gains the most time. But more often than not, you're going to do a lot better in the Koenigsegg than the Enzo in these sorts of tracks. And I took that corner a lot better that time. That's probably how you're supposed to take it. Crossed the line with over 3,000 kudos for that race, which is nice indeed. 2.3 seconds was behind, which is probably the distance he was behind for the entire race. So that's very nice indeed. So that's 3 events down. Moving on to the last cone challenge, which we're going to use the Porsche for again, because I really do like using this for the cone challenges. But as I said, you can use any car you like. You shouldn't have trouble getting any to power slide, really. So we've got a target of 14,000 at Stockholm. Choosing red this time, because why not? We don't really drive that many red cars on this. So again, with the previous cone challenge, there's not too many difficult sections in this. Short enough track, 2 laps again. Cones are nicely spread apart, no really narrow sections like in that Grand Touring cone challenge. And most of the corners are pretty obvious where you need to power slide around. And most of them you can get away with a clean line, or a good line, sorry, through some of the corners to link them together. Come through here, come through a clean section. On this bit, you could probably get away with not sliding through here, but I did slide on each little corner just to make sure I did get to that cone challenge, the cone gate, and I did overcook it again, which is quite easy to do in this, to be fair, but you can recover it fairly easily. And you can get this to power slide pretty much on the spot if you're struggling for speed, which is also very good for linking the gates together. So that's a nice little feature of this car. Coming to the last corner before the finish, getting a little slide in there, nearly whipping back the other way, hitting the cone, but we managed to safely correct that without hitting it. Nearly reaching a combo of 70 now. Again, going for that full combo around this circuit. Having to correct a little bit there to the left so we didn't hit that cone gate. We're going to have more of the same on this lap. Don't have to go full throttle through all these cone challenges. It's best not to actually have less control of the car, so you've just got to know when you've learnt the track, when to accelerate, when to use that speed between gates, and when to be a bit more reserved in the more complicated sections, so you're not going to have as big a chance of hitting the cones. See again through here, just really going out wide and then getting that slide between the cone gates, so we can keep the combo going. And some of these cone placements are a little bit weird, but I guess that's why they do it, to make it more interesting. Sometimes they're nowhere near the racing line, sometimes they are. Final corner before the finish again, very nearly hitting that left-hand cone, which would have been very annoying because this has been a good run. As you can see, finishing with 126 combo, 21,000 or over that with the clean race, so that was pretty comfortable. Passed that by absolutely loads, 7,000, another monstrous amount of kudos, 26,000 in total, to add to our kudos rank total. So that's this episode done, guys. Not too challenging. If you use the right cars and you learn the tracks, it's not too bad at all. But in the next event, or the next episode should I say, we've got 4 street races to do. So yeah, more of the same. It's going to be a bit of a longer episode, as the street races usually take a little bit longer. But I hope you enjoyed it, guys. If you did, please like the video and subscribe if you're new for more content, and I'll see you in the next one.